Hi everyone, here's a story that is going to make your blood boil. It's totally unfair, this is. I'm going to preempt this, it's totally unfair. And at the end of this video, after I've talked about this story, I'm going to explain, or rather I'm going to hand it over to an expert to explain exactly why this is unfair. So this is from Wales Online. The young man with brain tumours told he is fit to work despite being unable to leave the house alone. A mum has spoken of her despair after her 21-year-old son was declared fit for work despite having brain tumours since birth. Philip Dewitt from Porth in the Rhondda has had 5 major operations for tumours and is unable to leave his house on his own. He's fit for work according to the DWP. His ongoing needs have left a neurosurgeon describing him as, quote, unable to hold down a job due to his physical and psychological disabilities. That's a neurosurgeon talking about somebody with brain tumours. And he says he's unable to hold down a job due to his physical and psychological disabilities. The DWP, no, they say he's fit for work. Forget the brain surgeon. What does a brain surgeon know? Arseholes. However, he has been refused employment support allowance by the DWP on the basis that he is fit for work. Mum Rita Curtis, 47, said, why do they always put their mum's name? I can understand them putting his name, but why do they always put her to put... Anyway, Mum Rita Curtis said Philip's tumours were first diagnosed when he was 11 years old and has since had 3 removed and 2 vents put in his head. He was, quote, he was getting these headaches and he had to be taken home from school and would go to bed. He would be vomiting. He's had a lot of surgery as well as the initial biopsy. He's had 3 tumours removed and 2 vents in his head. There's been 5 operations over the last couple of years. It is benign now, but keeps growing. Rita and Philip were being told, oh, this is terrible, terrible grammar, Wales Online. Rita and Philip were told his employment support allowance, or ESA, had been stopped after he was declared fit for work, yet they say Philip struggles with his eyesight, vertigo, headaches and weakness, and can only leave the house if his mom is with him. He's fit for work though, according to the DWP. He trained as a gym instructor and personal trainer, but has not been able to work since his last operation in August 2016. Rita finds it deeply distressing. I'm not surprised. Quote, from last year when DWP stopped his money, I've had to support him on my part-time night workers pay. I'm paying my mortgage, utilities and looking after his needs as a carer, and I'm on my own. It's very stressful because in between working and caring for Philip, I've got to help him with all the paperwork. I find it difficult to understand that paperwork, filling in the initial form. They asked the same question in different ways. It is very confusing. I helped one of my neighbours with her disability. I think it's PIP they call it now, don't they? Personal Independence Plan. And it really is confusing. It's not straightforward at all. So I totally understand what she's saying. This is totally unfair. This is totally unfair. Not to mention that the amount of people that they are saying are fit for work now who actually go to a tribunal, the vast majority of them are actually overturned. The DWP's decision is overturned by tribunal. They spend, according to The Guardian here, £100 million a year just on defending disability benefit appeals. £100 million. Wonder how much they actually save. Be interesting to find that out. I couldn't find any figures beforehand. Going after the disabled in this way, and the sick, and the people who need our help more than anything, the government's help more than anybody, is just cruel and unusual punishment in my opinion. If you actually look at the entire spending of the government, you can see here for the year ending in March 2019, the estimated entire spending that the government has to spend on including central government and local authorities is estimated at around £817.5 billion. Okay, now just look at this. The amount that benefits for people with disabilities, health conditions and their carers actually makes up only 6.4% of that. That's all. 6.4%. And you can see there by that graph how it has just tailed off. And you can see they've just ceased increasing the funding. Obviously, you know, inflation keeps going up. Things keep getting more expensive. So not only are they trying to cut spending and make people with brain tumours have things more difficult, but anybody who's in that social safety net is worse off, and is definitely worse off than the Tories, than when the Tories came in 2010. That's for sure. That's for certain. And the reason they are worse off is because of the government's austerity measures. Now, austerity is something. These austerity measures has never worked. They've never worked anywhere with an economy bigger than, I think it was Latvia that it worked with. A very small country, it can work. But with larger companies, it's absolutely useless. It's a useless idea. It doesn't work. It's never worked anywhere. And just to explain to you why this is just so unfair, I'm sure you agree with me this is unfair, but I'm going to go over to Mark Blythe. I've watched probably about 24 hours of his lectures and interviews trying to understand global economics because he is a bloody expert. Just listen to, he gave 3 reasons as to why austerity is a terrible idea, and this is the second of them. Just listen to what he says, because it really is an eye-opener, this is.
It's not fair. Who are the people who actually rely on government services? They're the people at the bottom end of the income distribution, not the people at the top. And the people at the top are the ones who, frankly, have made out like bandits over the past 30 years of the financialization of the economy. They're the ones, the creditors, who the low inflation regime has benefited. They produce the debt that masks the maldistribution of income right across all the OECD countries. And now, after bailing out the assets of the very people who created the debt, we're now going to say to the people who didn't benefit, you're the ones who need to pay. Well, that produces a very toxic and very dangerous politics. You have a kind of creditor-debtor standoff where those who can pay don't want to, and those who can't pay are being asked to. Look at the Italian elections. That's where this is the first round of this, and it could get potentially much worse. And that's what the lessons of history certainly tell us.
So there you go. There's Mark Blythe explaining why it's so unfair. The poor weren't the ones who got us into this mess. The poor weren't the ones that crashed the economy. The people who crashed the economy are the bankers and the rich. Who are the people that are paying for their mistakes? People like this guy with brain tumours. This has got to change. This has got to change. We need a new government, and we need one now, in my opinion, because otherwise people like this young man are not just going to suffer. They're going to be dying off. If you enjoyed this video, please click the bell down there and subscribe so you get a notification of next time I drop a video. Also, I can't do this without your help, so if you can afford it and you enjoy my videos, please support the channel by subscribing to my Patreon. Link is down there. You can do it for as little as $1 a month, and it really does help. If you can't afford it, that's fine. Please share my work and talk to other people about the issues that I bring up. Thanks very much for your support. Until next time, peace and take care.